Every year, buried treasure is dug up all over Britain. There's something magical in the idea that under our very feet, ancient riches are just waiting to be discovered. But what if you knew exactly where that treasure was? I'm here in mid-Wales because almost 2,000 years ago, the Roman Empire knew exactly where to look for buried treasure. I'm talking about the purest treasure there is, gold. Before the Romans invaded Britain in AD 43, native people would have found gold washed through rivers and streams like this one. But as with everything else, the Romans wanted a piece of the action. But rather than scrambling through rivers and streams to get tiny specks of gold, the Romans went straight to the source of their treasure. And for gold, that means quartz-bearing ore that runs in great seams through the earth, deep underground. And to get at it, you need a big hole. This big. So how exactly did ancient people go about digging an open-cast pit? Well, for many years they were dug by hand over decades. But the engineers who followed the Roman army had a better idea. By digging channels like this one through the rock, they could transport the water from rivers upstream down to where they needed it to be. Once the leats were flowing with river water, the hard work began. Tunnels needed to be driven by hand deep underground. Even today, mining is incredibly dangerous. But back when Rome sent you to work in the mines armed only with a small lamp or candle and a handpick, it was incredibly deadly. Especially when you were ordered to cut down the pillars which were holding the earth up above you. The idea is simple, but devastatingly genius. The aqueduct diverts a river's worth of water across the hillsides to fill up tanks situated just above the mines. When that's stopped up, it builds up enough pressure in the water that when diverted through the tunnels, collapses the mountains in one go. It's a process so destructive, it was named ruina montium, the ruin of mountains. Once the debris is settled, picking through the rubble, you can only hope that you stumble across an exploded lump of quartz. Crushing quartz like this is the only way to free up any gold trapped inside. The Romans would have done the exact same thing, but with much more quartz and a much bigger hammer. In fact, we now think that the Romans were the first people to use a water-powered trip hammer, something that wouldn't later be seen until the 16th century. Well, I'm disappointed to say that I haven't found any gold today. And that's probably because the Roman mining technique, as incredibly powerful as it was, could only find about an ounce of gold out of every ton of quartz extracted. It's incredible to think all that effort went into producing something so small, but something so incredibly valuable.